Krause, and I'm the Director of Education and Outreach for the Center for Sustainable Nanotechnology, a multi-institute center for chemical innovation funded by the National Science Foundation. I'm delighted to be here virtually at the ERAS Summit, talking about one of our outreach projects, our blog, and how we use it as a tool for both professional development and outreach. So the CSN is a collaboration among 15 different labs across 12 different institutions around the country, and includes funding for something like 40 graduate students, plus a handful of postdocs and undergrads at any given time. Here we are at our all-hands meeting back in January before social distancing started. Anyway, two of our primary areas for broader impacts, as we know, include professional development and outreach. So our professional development objective is to develop CSN students, postdocs, and faculty to become exemplary leaders, innovators, communicators, mentors, and educators. While our outreach goal is to increase public understanding and engagement with nanotechnology and sustainability science. So before I explain how our blog specifically serves our professional development and outreach goals, I want to give you a quick tour of what it looks like. We write posts on all kinds of different topics on the general themes of nanotechnology, sustainability, and life in science. We aim for 2 to 4 posts a month on average. And we include resources for K through 12 educators. We include references, of course. We have links to our social media, a button for people to submit questions, links to our Spanish translation site. And what does this have to do with professional development? So it is optional, but we do encourage every member of the center to write a blog post each year. And we explicitly frame it as an opportunity to practice communicating with a broad audience. About once a year, I present a webinar about writing for the blog, and that includes topics like understanding the different goals and expectations that come along with communicating for scientific versus non-scientific audiences. And as you can see, over half of our posts are written by graduate students, and a wide number of them. It's not just a handful of students who are writing all of these posts, undergrads, postdocs, and grad students. And I think that's part of what makes the program successful. Once a year is not a huge commitment. Some of them do end up doing more because they enjoy it, but it doesn't seem like a big burden for each person to participate and get that experience. A huge piece of the professional development aspect of this is our peer editing system. And each post that we have goes through several rounds of edits with a peer editor before it comes to me for a final round of edits. And this gives our writers the opportunity to get plenty of constructive feedback. It gives our peer editors the chance to hone their editing and mentoring skills. And it reduces the bottleneck that would happen if I had to do multiple rounds of edits on every single post. The image here is not meant for you to necessarily be able to read everything, just to give you a sense of the level of detail and care that goes into drafting and editing every post on the blog. So switching gears to outreach, how do we know that we're accomplishing our goals? One simple way is through website analytics. And you can see here that we've had pretty solid overall growth in our page views over the years. We can also look at the sources of our traffic, where we find out that a lot of our visitors arrive through simple Google searches. And that includes things like, what is a lithium-ion battery? So that gives us some confidence that at least some members of the general public are finding our resources out of genuine sort of curiosity about the topics that we're writing about. We've also done a little bit of research trying to explore whether reading a blog post demonstrably leads to greater engagement than reading something else like a Wikipedia article, but that is a topic for another day, so we can chat about it during the discussion section if you like. So to wrap up, since we only have 5 minutes, here are a few of the lessons that we've learned over the past 6 years working with the Sustainable Nano blog. Number 1, distribute the workload. So we could never maintain a schedule of 2 to 4 posts per month without the broad participation of both writers and peer editors. Another way to think about this is to just be realistic about what you can accomplish with the support that you have. If it's just a handful of people working on a project like this, maybe your reasonable goal would be only 1 post a month or 1 every other month. Figure out what works for you. Number 2, editorial tracking can be surprisingly hard. Almost every year I adjust my system for keeping track of who has deadlines when, what stage of editing is each post at, who needs reminding about what. I don't have any magic answers for this, unfortunately. For what it's worth, I've been using a tool called MeisterTask for the last couple of years, which has been helpful. Trello is another one that I know is pretty similar. Again, you're gonna have to tweak it to figure out what system works for you. It's going to be hard no matter what. Finally, I remind you to judge successes on your own terms. So what I mean by that is I showed you our analytics graph, and it's really nice and satisfying to be able to say we have so many thousands of posts, so many thousands of page views for our posts. But keep in mind that that's pretty arbitrary. How many page views is enough? There's no objective measure for that. Do they have to keep growing to be successful, or is it okay if they plateau at some point? Would you rather have more shorter posts or fewer longer ones? Because realistically, that's probably going to be a trade-off. Would you rather have more in-depth editing or faster publication? You get to decide all of those things and define success for what it's going to look like for you. I think these lessons hopefully will apply across a variety of different ongoing long-term research projects, including things like podcasts, social media campaigns, developing new in-person demonstrations, that kind of thing. So I hope that hearing a little bit about how we operate the Sustainable Nano blog has been helpful for you. So thank you very much for listening to this lightning talk. I look forward to seeing you at the discussion breakout, and feel free to get in touch with me on email or social media or whatever works for you. So thanks very much for your time.